Hi everyone, welcome back. So we're doing our basics of using a calculator, but this is part 2. Part 1 I just looked at how you turn it on and off, turn to a decimal and so on. So we're going to look at doing some calculations and which buttons we need to know and know where they are so we can find them when it's important. Right, so we're going to have a look at brackets to start with. So let's just clear everything here. We are going to have a look at a calculation where we're going to multiply using a bracket. We're going to see what changes when we put that into our calculator and how we can make it change the answer. Right, so let's have a look. So our first calculation is going to be this one. We have a bracket around that and we are going to see how we put that in. So this is kind of a Maths question. So starting, open our brackets. We've got 2, add 3 in our brackets, close our brackets, multiply by 6, and that gives us an answer of 30. Now the calculator is doing brackets first, isn't it? So that's why it's giving us that answer, because it's 5 times 6. Okay, now just to compare, if I took away the brackets, let's see what happens then. And this is a good test of your Maths. So 2 plus 3 times 6, same numbers, same operations, but different answer. Now we've got 20. Why is that? Well, it's because the calculator's done the correct thing and it's done multiply first. It said 3 times 6 is 18 and it's add the 2 last. So there we go. Right, so the calculator's working, it's doing Maths in the right order, and that's all good. Okay, so we're going to look at more complicated indices. If we were asked to, not just square, but if we were asked to cube or find the fourth power or anything like that, we're going to need to know how to do that in our calculator. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on my buttons here. So on the calculator you've got these sort of more complicated buttons which you might not use all of them in your GCSE, but you should use this one, which is your square button, and you should be using this one, which is your indices button. Now this will allow you to put any number as an indices into your calculator. Okay, so that's the one we're going to be using now. So I'll move back over and zoom out again. So here, we're going to try this calculation. We are going to do 2 squared plus 3 cubed, and we're going to see what we get when we do that. So 2, and I could use the square, right? But I'm going to use this one because I'm going to show you how to use it. So it comes up with a little, I'm going to fill it with a 2 because we want squared. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the right cursor just to take that cursor down on X or space. Okay, and we're going to add 3 cubed. So I'm going to do the same again, but I'm going to put a 3 as my indices value here. Okay, so once I've done that, just need to press execute, and that gives me 31. And that's because it's 4 plus 27, so it's going to be 31. Okay, so that's how we do indices. Now if we wanted to do any indices, let's just pick an indices of 7. Okay, so clear everything. If we want to do 6 to the power of 7, we're going to do that, and we're going to say execute, and it's going to give us the answer. So what does that mean? That means 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, 7 times, and the calculator just works it out instantly like that. Okay, right, next one, square root. So we know this is opposite to a square. The square root of something is the opposite to a square. Okay, so it's the opposite. All right, so if we wanted to get rid of a square, we do square root, and if we wanted to get rid of a square root, we do square. So they move in opposite ways. Right, so the square root button, where's that? Well, we've got the square root button right next to the one we just used. It looks like this. So if we wanted to find the square root of 9, let's pick a a square number. So if I get rid of that, actually, I'll put the square root first. We press the button first, and then we put the 9 here. So that gives us an answer of 3. Now, I can do it the other way around, like I started to. If I do it like this, if I press the number first, and if I then press that, and you'll see, it doesn't work, but there is a way to do it. I'll just show you. If I go back to that, and if I press the number, and if I press equals, then that gives me the number as an answer. And now if I press that, and if I press answer, that'll insert my last answer, and then it will work that way. It's a bit longer. I would probably just make sure you press the button first. Okay, right. The next one, and the last one for this video, is using the answer button, which I'm going to look at in a bit more detail. Right, so if I wanted to take like an answer which was too big to memorize, bigger than 1-digit number, a 2-digit number. So let's just pick 64 squared. So if I did some calculating and I get that number, 4096, okay. I don't want to type it in again, but what I want to know now is what is the square root of that number, let's say, okay. So I'm going to write, so I'm just going to leave it on the screen, and I'm going to press the square root button, and then I'm going to use this answer button. Okay, so answer button is useful because it's almost like a memory of what we've just done. But it will only be the last answer that you got. It won't go back any further than that. So the answer button is useful if you've got a number that you didn't want to type in again, or if you didn't want to memorize, and you can just use the last answer, and that button is there. Okay, so the answer button is just like a memory, and it just saves you a little bit of time as well. So the answer button is memory of the last answer. Okay, and that's it for this video. Thanks everyone.